Hello, my name is Tino, and I'm speaking to you on behalf of DWN, the Digital Wildlife and Nature Initiative, with an urgent appeal. The Hwange National Park is facing a deepening crisis. The iconic acacia tree, which is a critical source of food and shelter, is rapidly disappearing. And at the very same time, the elephant population within the Hwange National Park has grown to spaces that by far outweigh the natural carrying capacity of the Hwange National Park, and thereby bringing immense pressure on the vegetation that is remaining within the Hwange National Park. Now, this is not merely an issue of disappearing trees and elephants. It is a critical issue that goes to the very deep root of the ecological chain within the national park. And this goes from birds and insects to water cycles and soil fertility levels. Now, with the shortage of food within the park, the elephants are encroaching into neighboring communities, disrupting the crop cycles and increasing the chances of human-wildlife conflict. In short, what we are currently facing with the situation in the Hwange National Park is an environmental emergency. And that is why I'm calling on all partners, policymakers, environmental activists, digital advocates to take into their hands meaningful action to contribute into helping the Hwange National Park in this midterm crisis. Here are some of the many ways within which we can all make contributions into this cause. We can share this message and others like it that are advocating for help within the Hwange National Park community. We can also take steps to create our own pages, our own social medias, and flood the internet with the cause for the outcry that is befalling the Hwange National Park. We can also take into our hands to make donations within the different organizations that are catering for help in trying to save the acacia tree. And in short, what we have before us in our hands is an environmental emergency, which if we fail to take action upon in this time, we risk permanent damage to livelihoods, to the environment, and to the loss that is going to befall the future generations. That is why I'm calling on all conservation makers, on all policy makers, and on all concerned citizens to take meaningful action in this fight against the disaster that is going to befall the Hwange National Park if no action is taken. Here are some of the many ways within which you can all contribute into saving the Hwange National Park, the elephants, the trees, and the whole ecological system within the park. Now, we can share this message and others like it to raise awareness. We can educate our different communities with the little knowledge that we have, or with all the knowledge that we have on environmental conservation and the importance of making a balance between the environmental conservation efforts and whatever benefits you can deduce from the environment. And we can also make donations to organizations that are taking steps to fight against such disasters which bring about extinction not only of wildlife but of important species of the soil and organisms that rely on the same for livelihood. And last but not least, the most important way within which we can all contribute into this meaningful action is to take into our hands steps, invest our time into engaging and participating in the different volunteering organizations that exist that fight for such a cause. Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot choose between the trees and the elephants. We must save both, and we must act now without delay. Every day we lose more trees, every day the burden grows. Let us protect Hwange. Let us act now, and above all things, let us act with purpose. Let us contribute meaningfully to our environment and save the future for the generation of tomorrow in Zimbabwe. Thank you.